everybody, and welcome to the 26th episode of Growing Up Geek, the weekly podcast for geek entertainment and nostalgia. My name is Brad, and as always, I am joined by my brother Rob.
Hi.
Explain what's happening over there. It just sounds terrible.
Through everything, turn. There's a time to be sunny with a working computer, and there's a time for things to be wet and humid, and for your computer to have some sort of glitch with the monitor that makes it look like Dr. Seuss has infected your color scheme.
Yep.
So, it's all right, but I am currently on a top secret mission to acquire a new computer, and people will be hearing more about that in the months to come. We might actually do a special episode, so keep your eyes and your ears peeled to Growing Up Geek.
Yes, but besides dripping with man sweat over there, are you doing okay? Your week was okay?
My week was good. Cooking up my own meat.
Sweet.
I've discovered this new recipe where I get ground beef, right, to make a burger, and put ground coffee into the meat.
Like a caffeinated burger, essentially?
Caffeinated burger. I mean, can you get better than that? I defy you.
Who am I to argue? But hey, let's get into the news. Geek news this week. What interested you?
The All Things Digital conference just happened.
Yes.
For me, the big thing that happened there was they unveiled Windows 7 and its graphical user interface.
Oh, no way. I have not seen this.
Basically, they're upgrading Vista and putting on it the kind of Surface touchscreen architecture that they've been working on for a while now and showing.
Yeah, explain that a little bit for people who don't know about Surface.
Surface is a tabletop interface, a touchscreen interface, right? So basically, you're sitting at a table in a bar, maybe. And if it's a Surface table, it's going to have all sorts of information given, like maybe what's sitting on there. So you put down your drink, and it's going to tell you what the drink is and maybe how you can make that drink at home. And let's say you put down your credit card, and all of a sudden it'll pull up the things you've ordered, and you can drag and drop them to your credit card. Like some people might be more familiar with stuff like on the iPhone. Pinching and dragging.
Right. So now, did you get to see pictures or videos of this, or is it just kind of
There's videos of this running. I mean, for now, it seems incredibly beta.
Right.
But they seem to be redesigning the kind of start menu interface, or the primary menu interface, to accommodate this idea of touchscreen.
Yeah.
One more thing that I think we've talked about, a virtual hard drive.
Awesome.
That can be stored on movable media, or also can be stored on the internet, that you can go from computer to computer and call up your hard drive and be able to just access it all right there.
Yeah, I mean, the flack that goes out to Microsoft, I think, is kind of an outdated way of thinking, because there are many departments in Microsoft. We have the Xbox department, the Zune department, the operating system. So you may have problems with Vista, but there are so many other products that they make, and many of them I think are really great, and most people would probably say that they're great. But in the Windows department, they generally make, these kind of small, safe moves. This seems like something much bolder than that, and I'm excited to see where this goes. Of course, people will cry foul that Apple, invented the touchscreen, but, if you look back through history, there's been touchscreens for a long time, and the Surface touchscreen is something much more radical. It's going to be interesting to see where the future goes, obviously. I'm
definitely excited. I hope it does some of the object recognition that Surface does.
Yeah.
We'll see, because it's not like a tabletop thing, but hopefully they'll get that whole thing squared away, and it'll be a great day for geeks everywhere.
We'll see.
Yeah, so that's my news. Brad, what's happening for you this week in news?
I'll read the headline here. EGM refuses to review Metal Gear Solid 4. In the wake of GameSpot's review controversy, I've actually been gravitating more towards EGM. They've been earning my respect online with a lot of their decisions, which have been seemingly more focused on the reader than on the publishers. But this move is even more substantial because, for anyone who doesn't know, Metal Gear Solid 4 comes out next week, and it's a huge game. A game that any magazine you would think need to review. But EGM was bothered by Konami's policy about reviewing the game, which was you cannot mention the 90-minute cutscenes that Metal Gear will have, and you cannot mention the file size of the installation on the PlayStation 3, which is now a matter of public record thanks to all of these blogs that have been posting about this. But EGM looked at that and said, I don't think so. We're just going to not review the game. So rather than being bound to Konami's policy, they decided to not give it a score and instead have a roundtable discussion. Again, another move that shows, I think, where EGM's corporate mindset is. So I'll turn this over to you as a question. Do you think this hurts Konami more? Because, again, the internet is now abuzz with this news of what they tried to censor in their review.
I mean, to me, that's a foul right there.
Yeah.
Like, I could see, something like, all right, you have to pay us so much, or you have to be a proven reviewer so that you don't just get fanboyism or something like that. But literally saying you can't mention this feature or that feature in the review, that's sad. But I think as far as the 90-minute cutscenes are concerned, that's Metal Gear.
It is now, anyway.
That's like complaining that you have summons in Final Fantasy. No, I mean, ever since Metal Gear Solid 1 on the PlayStation 1, we've had these huge, long cutscenes, and frankly, I actually enjoy them. I realize, I'm not playing a game right now, but I am being entertained.
So that's not a deal breaker for you when you hear, and again, this is not 90 minutes of cutscenes. This is a 90-minute cutscene appears in the game.
Yeah. No, I can deal with that. There have been examples of games that have had 90-minute cutscenes that are terrible, and I don't think Metal Gear is one of them. But yeah, whatever, man, if it's going to be in there, it's going to be in there. And let them review the whole product.
If EGM is going to have this kind of policy, then I think that's a good indication that we can trust their reviews.
Part of the Ziff Davis network.
Dun-dun-dun. And we get sponsored. No.
Yeah,
we don't make anything from that. But just a shout out to EGM. Keep up the good work, guys.
Yeah.
So that is Geek News for this week.
Woo.
And now we will turn to our main topic, which is a little bit different. We've never covered television, although we certainly do watch quite a bit of it. And Rob, you suggested that we watch this television show. Tell us more about that.
This week we decided to watch a show that had its season premiere, Morgan Spurlock's 30 Days.
Mm-hmm.
This is the guy who made Super Size Me. He spent 30 days eating only McDonald's food.
Right.
And that documentary was so successful that it branched off into a television series where he and other people spend 30 days experiencing alternate living.
By the way, Morgan Spurlock, a great name for a supervillain. I could just see somebody up in the top of a castle somewhere.
At least the secret identity of a supervillain.
Yes.
Anyways, so the first episode involves Morgan Spurlock himself spending 30 days as a West Virginia coal miner.
Yes.
They said on the show about 50% of the power produced in America's homes comes from coal.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that. And to see that a coal miner makes $65,000 a year.
Right, one of the highest paying average salaries of any occupation.
What did you think of this experiment, as it were?
I was enjoying it. I mean, it's definitely Morgan Spurlock's sort of whimsical technique. He kind of got that whole sort of dirty jobs aspect of it where like he's down in there and showing how hard it is. But beyond just the job itself, he went into the lives of these people, the dangers of black lung.
Yes, I will say that having watched this, I will never be a coal miner. Very dangerous. And one thing that I was surprised at is how many coal miners actually really love their job, like enjoy being down there and the peacefulness of it. And to me, that was the best part about this episode, and we'll see how the rest of the show is. But by living with these people and getting into their shoes, you couldn't just paint them as a two-dimensional, picture. So I liked that.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. The people aspect, actually, I'll admit it, I was almost surprised a bit, because they weren't this kind of picture you see painted in movies like October Sky or whatever, where everybody's kind of just like trudging off to work.
This one part, I wanted to get your 2 cents on this, not to make this a whole environmental thing, but they blew up the top of these mountains to mine coal above ground, which I didn't even realize you could do. And Morgan Spurlock actually says that it made him want to cry whenever he saw that. However, my 2 cents on this, no one was living on top of those mountains. Is it okay to destroy a mountain where no one is living to power neighborhoods where thousands potentially are living? What do you think about that?
Well, I can see that point, because
Right.
I've been to West Virginia. I've seen these mountains and things, and there is something to be said just about the grandeur and beauty of mountains.
Sure.
They will strip these mountains down, right?
Yeah.
And collect the coal. But by law, they are required to then restore it.
Right.
But they never showed, does it look good?
Sure.
Does it fit into the scenery? Or is it just
Is it
kind of
CG?
like...
Yeah.
Exactly. You know what? If you could pick something for him to spend 30 days doing, what do you think you'd want him to do?
I don't know. Maybe they could do something about comic book nerds or something. Standing in the shoes of someone that plays Darkon. By the way, Darkon is a fantastic documentary about LARPers. You can laugh at them, or you can kind of get interested in their world. Either way, very entertaining.
Wow.
So just giving quick props to that at the end here.
Definitely 30 days of LARPing. I want to see that episode.
Indeed. And I think he has enough humor to cover it, so that it's entertaining as well as interesting.
Yeah, I think it would be worthwhile getting into the shoes of Trekkies and D&D fanatics and all that stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, 30 days as a geek. We'll have that eventually. We'll invite him out.
Yeah. So there you
to
go.
wherever geeks dwell.
I would say check this out if you're interested. Not a must-see, in my opinion, but
okay.
But certainly a finely crafted show.
Right. I would probably rank it right there. I can't say you must see it, but it's a worthwhile thing on a Tuesday night, especially if you're the type of person who's interested in people and places and this kind of documentary thing.
Yeah. So that is 30 Days, with one more time, just because we have to say it, Morgan Spurlock. And check that out if you're interested. And before we close our show, we'd like to take a little time to lie on the living room floor, pop in that Mind's Eye VHS tape.
Ooh.
The one with the mind-blowing CG dinosaurs.
Yes.
And enjoy a little nostalgia.
Yes.
This week, I want to talk about Bullies. Kids can be mean, growing up can be tough, but growing up as a geek can earn you a special kind of punishment. So I wanted to bring back some possibly painful memories for the entertainment of others. What is the worst bully encounter that you can remember?
I think one time in the lunch line in the second grade, I got kicked in the balls.
Well, I didn't want to have to go there exactly, but when your mother has to call another mother,
yeah,
and that conversation mentions the word scrotum,
yep,
it's never a good thing, I will say.
But I do recall I did not kick him in the scrotum.
You didn't retaliate, okay.
And when asked by my mom, why didn't you fight back or whatever, I said, well, I want him to have kids someday.
Oh, that's nice of you, Rob.
Sometimes a kick to the balls can become fashionable, it gets in the zeitgeist. You watch enough Home Alone and you think that it's funny, to just do it.
Right.
And you don't realize the deafening screams that you'll hear if you do, in fact, kick somebody.
It's not good.
There is a video online I saw where they scientifically studied a guy getting shot in the balls with a 50-mile-an-hour tennis ball.
I saw the same video.
You saw?
It's like the whole entire intro to that video, you're just saying, why is he doing this? He's standing there and he's cringing, and they're measuring his heart rate, which is shooting through the roof.
Yeah, because they show a digital CG representation of what's going on, and the electricity just shoots throughout his whole body, and the best is when he
collapses and the doctor runs in, and the doctor's kind of like, are you okay? And he's kind of yeah,
takes
it's
the
not
hit
good.
And just collapses. He just goes down. He doesn't even knowing that it's going to happen. This guy that they picked to do this.
So this conversation has quickly turned into a men's health minute.
I think though, there is a benefit to that. Once you deal with enough teasing and enough stuff like that, you start to develop your wit, as just a survival mechanism.
There you go. So hang on to that wit, kids, and you will at some point make it out of grade school. There is a light at the end of the tunnel.
With your scrotum intact.
Indeed.
Unless you're a girl.
And on that note, we will end our show. If you would like to email us with your childhood's bully stories, you may do so. Our email address is mail@growing-up-geek.com. Send us a good one, and we'll read it on the show. Once again, my name is Brad.
And I'm Sporgon Murlock.
And we'll catch you next week.